Hello. I figured it would be a good time to give an update on my wheel storage situation over here. The first time I made a video, this was in 2020, and back then my wheel storage started there and ended there. At the time, as much as I sold a few wheels here and there, for the most part, I just wanted storage for my spare wheels, my winter wheels, and the few wheels that I was experimenting with. At the time, I did not anticipate it getting into a full-fledged business, but here we are. So initially, what I had, as I said, started here and ended there. One thing a big change that I've made over the years is that I used to store wheels sideways just to be able to insert them a little better and more stability. That's what I wanted. But then after I started refurbishing wheels, I said, hey, maybe I should turn them facing me so that we can showcase them a little better. And it works out. So the way I designed it, I made sure I was going to be able to put 4 wheels in there. And generally with a width of 9 to 10 inches, or some of them are a little more, I was able to get, most of them are like 48, give or take. That one back there, I think, is a little longer. Well, no, this one here is definitely much longer than that, as you can see. And so I was able to get 4 wheels side by side. And when I decided to flip them and show the faces, it also works out because that's 19 inches, those are 20 inches, that's 21 inches. But the 21, yeah, it still would work over there. Again, it's just lucky whereby if I put 2 wheels side by side this way, looking at the barrel versus putting one, it adds up to the same number. If I dealt with different size wheels, things would be different, but I'm lucky. OEM wheels just tend to work out this way, at least in the Nissan and Infiniti sedan and coupe world. So what do I have for storage above me? Okay, 1 set, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5, give or take. I also expanded the storage this way. Initially, over here I had, was it door panels? I had something over there. It wasn't really meant to be wheel storage, but then I have these wheels that are refurbished and I have them there. I'm not actively seeking out any of those 7-spoke wheels anymore, so I've been trying to sell those for a while. I decided to put them out there, out of the way, and then I was able to get that donut over there. That donut doesn't work for most of the cars that I have, including the original car it came from, because of my cars either come from the factory with the Akebono big brake system, or I've been upgrading them to that. So that doesn't work, but still worth something. So sticks around, way out of the way. So that's what I have above me. And as I said, you could call that half a set, and it's other one there. Call that your 5th. Back in the day, I used to buy wheels in sets of 5 because I wanted a full-size spare so badly. And so sometimes spillover happens there. So these are all pretty much ready to go wheels. Around here, when I made this shelving unit, it wasn't supposed to hold any wheels. It was supposed to be just boxes. And because of the span in the middle, I was going to have the lightest stuff, empty boxes, maybe things that I really value, heavier boxes on the end. And I've been on this quest to just get rid of stuff. Sell, give away, whatever. Just get rid of stuff that's unnecessary and things that I don't think I'd ever use anymore. So that created space up there. And I decided that I have all these wheels. Not every one of them falls neatly in a matching set. So sometimes that's what I do. I just put the wheels up there. The singles, as you can see, none of these match. All the Black Edition wheels, which is what I've been focusing on mostly lately, but they all have different kinds of finishing. Some of them might get redone. I might decide to, like, once I gather up enough wheels, I might decide to make them into a set. But mostly they're good to go. If someone needed a spare, they're good to go. Then I cleared up some space the other day and I was able to store these tires up there. And as you can imagine, if you can store tires, you probably can store wheels up there. It's just a thought. I haven't really fully decided what I'm going to, I'm getting ready to install that on a car. So I'm not sure if that's going to remain wheel storage or not, but if it does, I mean, I'm open to it, modifying the setup, maybe more bracing in the middle to allow me to put more wheels up there, you know? And then what else do we have? We still have the stuff going on here. Again, please pardon the mess. In the middle of not moving, but construction and upgrading and just a lot of construction in the house. So a stack of tires, well, there's actually tires and wheels. Yep, wheels in there. Then random tires here and there, tires here and there. These are all on dollies so I can push them around. Although ideally I'd like them to not be on the floor. That's what I'm trying to do. Then I've got these wheels. These have been refurbished and they're going to be installed on my Infiniti Q70 Hybrid. It's a white car, and I think I like how the bronze chrome pops against the white. So these are going to be installed, and I think the question is going to be, okay, after you do that, where are you going to put the wheels at on that car? Well, there is room. We'll be able to do something with it. So all in all, I'm still, for the most part, like my design, my iteration. I mean, I made it this way so that I could hypothetically be able to walk underneath all my shelves with nothing in the way. And it's pretty high. I mean, it wouldn't hit me at all. Bracing down here was a thought, but I told myself that goes against the whole premise of being able to walk through with no obstructions. So that's what I did. Bracing them from up there since 2020. They've been holding well. I thought about using chains and stuff, but I just felt like the plywood would look a little neater, and I've been able to make it work that way. So installation though, for the most part, pretty simple. You feel the end. I was able to drill that, but then when you come to the middle, you can see that a lot of them are offset, right? Like here, I have to drill it from there, but then it's offset, drill it from here, go there, step up. Why did I step up? I guess I was kind of blocked, limited by the flat sheets of plywood, or maybe what I just had in hand. But usually I go up, down, up, down. You can see that, right? Excuse me. So that's generally what I try to do. Up, down, and it works. And not so much on this side, because when I first made this for wheels, I wasn't going to put any decking down here, because again, the wheels were being stored this way. So turning them this way, without this, I designed and I sized the gap in between here to allow the wheel to fall in and be nested, so they were not that close to the ceiling. And again, my dimensions were supposed to allow not just wheels, but wheels and tires. If I were to get wheels and tires, you could maybe finagle them on the way in, but once you turn them, again, having this dip over here was supposed to allow the tire to go in. Does that make sense? Right? So that was the initial design intention, and these have now been nailed down. They're just sitting there. They can be lifted if need be, right? Okay, well, maybe I should push those back. What I use is plywood and other pieces of wood in between to just prevent things from rolling around, as long as I don't lift them during a demo. I wanted to showcase the other side though, the shelving. Over here, yes, I did the stagger for the most part. Again, I see a weird step down here. That's something that's not typical of my design intention. So that step down again, that's interesting, but then I stepped back up. And I think what happened here though is where the stud on that side was, it limited how far out I could go. Or maybe it's just what I had. But I think over there it's a stud issue. I think that's kind of what messed me up. But I wanted to point out that, do you notice that all the wood is in line with each other? That was my intention for this side, because this was being made exactly like a shelf, whereby if somebody decided to box it in the future, they can just go up there to the ceiling and get doors, or, they don't have to open, they could slide. But if you decided to do that, you'll be able to do that. It's been interesting. It's one of the first things I usually do whenever I move into a new home, and you get a garage that's just a box, and I come in and do all these things. And I wasn't, I remember talking to a realtor back in the day saying, why didn't you guys ever take pictures of garages? I said, because no one, it's just a box. Why do you want to see it? I said, well, most rooms we see are also just empty boxes, but we still take pictures of them, right? And but when they got to see the garage that I had set up, they said, oh, are you going to be keeping this? You know, are you going to be leaving these shelves when you sell the house, or are you taking them away? I said, no, this is custom made to the home. They'll stay here. And that's something that I've noticed that people have been asking more and more. Whenever we have a realtor look at a house, they say, what is the shelving staying? I made it just purpose built for me, and wheel storage, but when you make it not very unique or not very custom, I guess, it's still versatile enough that people can do other things with. You know, think about Christmas trees, or I don't know, whatever it is people need to store. And these have been built very sturdy. I used to say that I can load them up with wheels and tires, and then I can hang off the edge. And I've got, you know, I weigh over 200 pounds, and you'll not as much as hear a squeak or creak from the wood. Everything will be legit. So a lot of engineered fasteners and whatnot, you know. I forgot what they call those fasteners. They're not like lag bolts. They're screws, but they're like engineered screws. They work just like lag bolts. So a lot of time spent here, a lot of designing stuff. Could I buy a metal rack from Tire Rack, for example, and make it work? Absolutely. I could. If I only had one set of wheels, I would. It's just that, honestly, I like working with wood. So that's why I got into all this stuff. And then the other thing that's changed is, I got some reasonable lighting in here. It's pretty good. It's pretty bright versus what my old setup was. I did some electrical testing and tracking and whatnot. It's not pretty, but it's pretty functional. That's what I say. But it's dramatic how this place changes. Oh, yeah, and then I relocated this. Where was it? I guess right there. I relocated though. I put it on one of the studs. So let's go ahead and turn off the light first. Then turn on the light. This one here, that's your garage door light, which in most garages, I mean, it's decent enough. It works if you set it properly. Mine though, it turns off and it doesn't get triggered to turn on by anything else. And I'm not really interested in playing with it. What did I have? I had like one of those ceramic lamp holder things, a circular one there, and it was just dangling, and you put the brightest bulb you could put in. And I said, hey, let me just tap into that and get LEDs. So that's what I did. Boom. And maybe in the future I'll show you guys the different settings you can do with, you know what, let's try to do that. See if you can see it. There are those adjustable ones, so I can change quite a few different parameters on the lights so it doesn't blind me as I go up right now. Can you see anything, or are you blinded over here? So I can change the color temperature, I can change the light intensity. So for one, let's do, this is brightest, dimmest, there you go. So you can see it's white light, but pretty dim, right? Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it that well, but I can also change the color. Very almost blue, and that's very yellow. Let's make it yellow and dim. So can you see the difference between that light and the other side? Yeah, so I think I usually have this on the brightest, and then in the middle, color temperature. I think this is like 4,000. I'll go 5,000, 5,000K, then 4,000, and then 3,500. I usually leave it at 4,000, give or take. And then the lumens Is it 10,000? I had to learn how to do all those calculations depending on the kind of room you have, what type of work you intend to be doing in there. If it's just a walking place, then you don't need very bright lighting. You don't need that much in the way of lumens. But since mine is a workshop as well, that's what I did. And then I had it in such a way that you park a car right here, you at least have lighting on that side and that side. And I was a little afraid that I might not get lighting that way, but I guess the other one helps. And then going over this way as well, you park your car here, right? And then this light can go, so you don't have light like right on top of the car, then shadows everywhere else. You know, you still have enough light to go to that side. So that was a thought, but yeah. So thanks for, wow, 15 minutes, geez. Thanks for following me on my journey. Still working on different things, still working on that area over there. I took down most of my tools because I got more, I acquired more, I got rid of some, and I'm still working on it as to what I want to do with it. I just haven't done a garage work, intense garage work in a while. Still trying to figure out a creative way to take advantage of my spigots in the garage. I got hot and cold in here, which is really nice, but the garage floor and the walls just not very well set up for getting wet. Then since I picked up a lot of other machinery and stuff, I'm trying to find ways to utilize this. I thought I was going to use a man door, but it's been stuck for a really long time. And I realized, I don't really need it. But otherwise I've got, you know, all the other equipment just kind of sitting there, sitting off to the side. As usual, I've had the engines on that side as well. I'm trying to bring them back there. Found a different home for the bikes and stuff. I thought I would set it here, and I don't know. But I see this as space that could be used for something else. I don't know if I can pull it. Well, I can't really do too much just in case sell the house and someone decides to use that door if they actually park in the garage. Because as a result of no man door, having access to no man doors, people usually just open the big garage door when they want to get out and whenever they have shopping, which I don't blame them for that. But looking at this, there are certain places over here I can come in and get extra shelving, and it's still going to be, you know, kind of above my head. And if anything though, even if it's below my head, I can have them a little shallower. You don't need to have all your shelving this deep, you know, and especially if it's stuff that you access all the time, you're going to be able to reach all the way to the back and get whatever you need. So that is the story of the garage. Everything takes time. I did not expect to have it all done and all sorted out within a year, but 3.5 years of being here, still things are changing. I thought I would set things up a certain way, then over time I'm just thinking about it again and saying, oh yeah, maybe something needs to change. And you know what, let me take this outside. You should see what it looks like from the outside. Just don't lock myself. Yep. Working on the deck as well. This, as I said, there's always so much work. Here's a trailer with trash from the home remodeling. And just park it on the grass and decide to work on it from there. So this is what the garage looks like from the outside. I got some security lights, set them up, which should explain why the videos have gotten much better these days. But yeah, that's it. I've been thinking to myself, do I want to do anything about the glass panes over there? But I don't have the answer to that yet. Maybe, maybe not. But you're showing a whole lot of inventory from outside, you know. And sometimes I'm here working pretty late, so the lights need to be on. And I usually wonder, man, they look dirty, man. You know, how much can be seen, but we live in a pretty nice area and kind of, I guess, still working on faith that everybody wants to do good and whatnot, you know. projects in the driveway. As you can see, the driveway is way thinner than it's been in the past, but yeah, just work, life. It's a hobby and work balance. Balancing the time you have left over from hanging out with your family, spending time with your family, to working and pursuing your hobbies and stuff like that, right? So, I don't know. It's an interesting place. I don't think it's the kind of place I can readily expand it. Not here, but we have a lot of land on the side that I've thought maybe I need to build a garage off to the side that will have all the storage, and maybe even like an office kind of workshop with a lot of elbow room. One thing I learned very early on in my car stuff is that I need room to have organization. At least that's me. I know some people keep small places tidy, but if I'm tripping over tools trying to get things, if you know, it's just a little hard. And I think just having enough room would really help with advancing all kinds of projects going on, because sometimes we have situations like this, just sitting on jack stands. That would be nice if I was sitting inside a building, wouldn't it? Oh well, time to go. Have a good night.